So the experience of the auto industry in the US in the early 20th century is really quite interesting because there was a lot of automation. When Henry Ford came to Detroit, there were some tens of thousands of people making about the same number of cars. And Henry Ford brought auto production, assembly of automobiles onto a moving production line, and he also brought electricity to that production line, which was a big increase in productivity, but of course the machines were doing some of the things that people had done before, so that's automation. However, at the same time, Henry Ford and the managers and engineers around him, some of them worked for him, some of them were his competitors, what they did was create a lot of new tasks. And the scale of this new task creation was so immense that by 1929, there were 300,000 people working in the US car industry, and they were making millions of cars. Ford and GM were enormous car producers, selling cars around the United States and of course selling cars internationally as well. So the key is to create new tasks for humans, particularly tasks that require some form of expertise, because that's what you get paid a premium wage for, more than just the wage of hiring somebody off the street. Now, those steps, I would say, are necessary but not sufficient. There's also the issue of, does the market actually pay you the wage commensurate with or reflecting higher productivity? And here, of course, in the 1930s, the rise of trade unions in the United States was really very important. So productivity had increased, wages not so much. The UAW and other trade unions fought very hard for improved wages and improved working conditions and improved benefits. They got those things, and that didn't undermine the competitiveness of the US auto industry because it was so productive. So increase in productivity, new task creation, very important, but making sure people actually get paid wages that match the higher productivity and the demand for labor reflected in the new task creation. That's the magic combination. And as for the age of AI, well, I think we need the same thing. We need new task creation, absolutely. We need people to be paid in a way that reflects increased demand for labor, and that's difficult because trade unions are now much weaker. We are unfortunately going to get more automation. Like it or not, automation happens. I don't think you can stop automation. I don't think you can block it. I think that's a fool's errand. I think the focus of the private sector can and should be on new task creation, finding new productive things for humans to do, powered by AI. I think that's super important, and maybe the only thing that really matters ultimately in terms of outcomes, in terms of who wins and who loses, in terms of who has a good job and who doesn't. And also, frankly, in terms of what do we do with AI? Does AI improve health and lives, or does AI mostly displace workers? I think those key elements of the impact remain to be determined.